Hi there. In today's video, we are bringing you another exciting property for those who love wildlife, nature, and environmental and sustainable living. We are at Mpande Estate, and we are going to be talking to the visionary behind this estate, Roger Monge, who's going to tell us all about the beauty that you see surrounding us. So, if you're somebody who loves serenity, who loves to be in nature and wildlife, don't go anywhere. You're really going to enjoy this video and learning more about this estate. My name is Natasha Chumia, and I'm the CEO of Diaspora Connect. So if we haven't met before, or if this is your first time to the channel, then on this channel we like to give you information and inspiration on the Zambian real estate market. So if you like the sound of that, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. But now let's get into my interview with Roger Monge, the visionary behind Mpande Estate. So Roger, thank you so much for inviting us to your beautiful estate.
Thanks. Well, more than welcome.
Okay, let's start with a quick introduction. Tell us who you are and what your role is.
Well, my name's Roger Monge, third generation on this farm here in Chihuahua. Our family's been here since the 1960s on this property. And we spearheaded this wildlife. I spearheaded it, and with the help of the family, we've, launched it now.
And how did you come up with the vision of this nature estate? What inspired you?
Natasha, look, we looked at our proximity to Lusaka and Kafue and where we sit. We sit in between the two. And like I said, our family's been here 3 generations now. My children are 4th generation. And we've looked after the fauna and the flora here. I mean, we still have indigenous wildlife here, just outside Lusaka, that has always been here. And became a bit disconcerted. I know most people get excited with urban expansion and rising property values, but we've always wanted to conserve this area, at least quite a large portion of it. And Lusaka is rapidly expanding south. Kafue is rapidly expanding north because of where it sits geographically. That's where it's is headed quickly, obviously. So it's not going to be too long in the future where they merge. Mm-hmm. And we started to think about how is this space going to work in that environment. And the only answer is to develop it. So rather than rush it, we decided we're going to start this project now, where we create an estate that will create the development that's required, and in turn will help conserve the green space as well, and it'll hopefully survive the long term of urban expansion and be a private conservancy green space for public enjoyment as well.
Yeah, it sounds like you've seen the approach of urbanization.
Yeah.
And you want to create a kind of green oasis in the middle of what you're going to see as a very urban area.
No, absolutely. I mean, I don't see it being extremely urban, but certainly it's going to get there. Probably hopefully on the lower density side. But yes, it's how are we going to keep these animals and this forest working within that space. And Lusaka is, I think, as you know, really lacking green space. I mean, so by creating these spaces for people to come and enjoy, and there's wildlife and the forest, and we are also developing the botanical garden here as well, and outdoor spaces, just a large space that we have residents will enjoy, and visitors can come and appreciate as well.
And you have this beautiful man-made dam.
Yes.
So you actually built this dam?
Yeah, my father built it. It took about 3 years. It's about 20 years old now. Wow. So it's been fantastic to have the water, and then obviously all the bird life and the fish, and It creates a fantastic element to have the water, on the estate.
It does.
Absolutely.
So now let's get into the estate. What
Yes.
would you say are the key features of the estate? Or especially since our audience is actually in the diaspora.
Yes.
We do have local people, of course, who watch, who might be more familiar with Kafue and Shimavara, but for our audience who haven't been home in a while, can you tell us, first of all, about the estate and the key features?
Okay. So I suppose the greatest number one feature is space. The estate sits on a 2,000-acre game farm, and the estate footprint is expected to be less than 10% of that. So it's been very spread out. Even on the individual lots, we've restricted, the space that people can utilize, because the founding element of the entire estate is free movement of wildlife.
Right.
We didn't want to create lines of fences everywhere. So you're living here, it's the sort of person that wants to wake up in the morning and there's a giraffe going through your plot, and a herd of impala or zebra or anything, that's how we've structured it. And we've gone for quite a stringent governance system on the estate. So, because we've looked at a lot of the estates and we wanted to ensure that we had good governance, so, for the longevity of the estate, we can establish a good community, and the amenities work, and the board of governance works for everybody. So in a nutshell, it was good governance, system, a lot of space, and wildlife is the center focus, and the forest as well.
Okay. So now when you know that when you say things like wildlife, that
Yes.
some Zambians get really scared of animals and they feel like they could be eaten when they walk out of their door. So say more about what you mean when you say wildlife. Are these dangerous animals that people should be scared of? Will they feel comfortable in their own plot if it's open?
Yeah, look, I mean, your yard is going to be fenced.
Okay, so you can fence it.
You can fence. We've stuck. It's about 30% of it. We restricted to 1.5 acres so that people can fence off.
Okay.
And you can have your garden. You can have all the amenities in there, within reason. We do have some architectural guidelines. I'll go through that as well. But the wildlife, we are not. We haven't put, or we don't have things that are known to be dangerous. For example, we're not going to be putting in buffalo.
Right. Okay.
Certainly not predators like lions. It's mainly antelope species.
Okay.
But with the disclaimer that wild animals are wild animals, and I think someone should always be aware. I mean, obviously there's snakes. Snakes can be dangerous. And even an impala can be dangerous in very rare circumstances.
Yeah, very rare.
Exactly. But in general, I mean, I've lived my whole life, 40 years on the farm. I've never had any dangerous encounter.
Okay.
But I certainly wouldn't say, look, it's 100% guaranteed, So, yeah, no, but otherwise I feel very comfortable.
Okay, so I want to take you back to now some of the key features that you mentioned. You talked about governance, you talked about systems, you talked about wildlife and services. So can you say a bit about the amenities that someone can find here at the estate if they were choosing to buy a plot here?
Okay, so, the people that would, I think, enjoy being out here, I mean, it's people that want to live an outdoor lifestyle, that love being in nature,
Yes.
Outdoor living, someone who likes hiking, maybe cycling, enjoying the outdoors, canoeing, obviously, going on bird walks. We've got the botanical garden. We're busy constructing a disc golf course, which I think is the first in Lusaka.
Oh, what's a disc golf course?
So it's quite a new sport, but it's growing quite rapidly around the world. It's very similar to golf, but with frisbees, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's quite.
I think I've seen it.
You probably have seen it. You'll see the baskets around with the chains. I don't know if you saw them coming in. So we've got our first 9 holes almost up and running, and then the next 9 holes. And we'll look at other amenities as well, outdoor amenities.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you're limited by imagination, but essentially it's people that want to be in an outdoor lifestyle.
Okay.
We are going to be looking at putting up a lodge restaurant as well on the
Nice.
dam, so that'll be on site. And but it's things like supermarkets and things are a little bit of a distance away. You know, Kafue and Lusaka about.
Okay.
I mean, Kafue and Chilanga 25 minutes away.
Okay, we'll come and talk more about that.
Okay.
But just staying focused within the estate for
Estate.
now, I wanted to also find out what about your utilities, water, electricity, all
Okay.
of those things?
So Nisha, we've really gone with an eco estate approach, and I think the beauty of what's happened, I know Zambia's just been through and is still currently going through a bit of a tough patch with regards to A, electricity, and B, water.
Yes.
And we really were pushing the renewables. So we wanted everyone to be off grid. There are, however, existing power lines that were going through the properties which people are welcome to tap power off from.
Okay.
But in general, we've been pushing for solar off-grid systems, which I think in today's environment, you need to convince people of that.
Of
You
course, yes.
It's become cheaper to put in. It's more reliable. The area was too vast to put in a water reticulation system. I mean, these are small holdings.
Yes.
So we've gone for boreholes. People will be putting in their own boreholes.
Okay.
But we've put in quite a lot of regulation of water.
Okay.
So boreholes will have a meter on them. So in years, for example, like last year when we have a drought, the board may say, listen, we would like to restrict the usage to a certain amount, and at least that can be, adhered to. We've also, in the architectural design, we've insisted that people put in a rainwater catchment system off their roofs, which is fairly simple to do. It's gutters and into some form of collection system.
Okay.
And then we've also, part of the design, people have to put in what they call an Australian reed bed system, which is fairly simple to build, but it's essentially a gravel bed with aquatic plants, and all the water coming out of your house will go through that system. It'll come out the other end, very usable for the garden, and then you can pump it in the garden.
Great.
But you've cleaned out all the toxins, and then that'll obviously percolate back into the groundwater.
Okay, so I can see that sustainability, environmental issues,
Absolutely.
recycling is very important to the estate.
Yes,
Yes.
but we didn't want to create. We wanted simple and practical systems that
Right.
everyone could put in, regardless of your budget.
Yeah.
We didn't want to go these high-tech, really expensive systems. A lot more, sustainable,
Okay.
easy to implement
Oh, good.
measures. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So now you've told us about these different amenities, the services.
Yes.
Now let's get down to some of the nitty-gritty details that
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are going to want to know.
Yeah.
How big are the plots and how much are they? So let's start with how big they are.
Look, they predominantly all 5-acre plots.
Oh, okay. So
Or
that's
2
why you
hectares.
said small holdings.
Yes, they are small holdings, with the caveat that you can only fence off 1.5 acres.
Okay, so what do people do with the rest of the land? Like I've bought 5 acres, now you're saying...
So
I can
you
only
just got to
fence off
maintain it.
1.5.
You keep any invasives off of it. You can plant indigenous trees
Okay.
if you'd like, but in general it's left for the wildlife. And there is a bit of maintenance you do have to do on there, but it's left for the wildlife. And a lot of people will say, but you're selling me 5 acres and I can only use 1.5 acres.
Yes.
And why don't you just sell me 1.5 acres?
Yes.
Obviously, if we had to cut them at 1.5 acres, we would be having to do a change of land use on the whole property. It's still an agricultural farm, the whole area. And I think, the effects that. The second thing it's done
So
is
I
it,
just want to clarify that point for people who might not understand what
Yeah.
you're saying. So what you're saying is that this whole land is zoned as agriculture.
yes,
And so when you're subdividing, the smallest that you can subdivide it at is 5 acres.
Correct.
Otherwise, you'd have to go through the laborious process of changing land use and all of that stuff.
Exactly, and more than 90% of the property of the estate is still common land.
Yes.
So, but I always will revert back is that one unique feature of this estate is even though you're restricted to the 1.5 acres of which you can fence off and utilize, is that you have access to 2,000 acres. So it comes with an added benefit. Yes, you giving up some of your land for the wildlife, but we're also providing you the use of a very large area of which you have use of. So I feel it's quite a good balance.
Okay. So now I know one of the other questions people will have is, can they farm? Because they've got this 5 acres. Can they start growing crops? Maybe doing a bit of livestock if they want to keep chickens, goats, all of that stuff.
So livestock is restricted on the property. So this is again why it's quite a unique clientele, is that this is a wildlife estate. And living with wildlife is fantastic. I mean, it's a rare privilege. But certain sacrifices have to be made. So livestock we've prohibited in our rules because there's disease factors, there's all sorts of other factors. And obviously on 1.5 acres it's quite difficult to do cropping. However, on our in our rules we've actually highly encouraged permaculture, growing your own food in your property, but that's obviously within your fence.
Okay. All right.
So obviously doing your gardens and fruit and all of that is highly encouraged actually. Utilizing your water twice. I think creating your own food is, like I said, 100% encouraged. Even the botanical garden is going to have an example of a permaculture garden.
Beautiful.
So it's a highly encouraged thing, absolutely.
Okay, so now let's get down to the pricing. What is the pricing?
The pricing is between $50,000 and $60,000.
Okay.
There is a bit of a variance depending on location, and we wanted to create a little bit of a variance there, rather than a single price on it. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, between $50,000 and $60,000.
So you said it depends on location. What do you mean? Do you mean, let's say, the plots that are closer to the dam?
Yeah, I would say those would be higher priced. We've tried by all means in most of the property that all the properties have look out onto a buffer zone. Some instances you might find because of shape or location it was not 100% possible, so those we priced them a bit lower.
Okay.
So yeah, there was a bit of variance with location and things like that, and we try to cater for slightly different budgets as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, tell us about payment terms. Do you have payment plans available? I know our audience will be really interested.
Yeah, I mean, we have got up to 5-year payment plan, although we do put a bit of an interest on there of 6%. Obviously, people think that the dollar doesn't depreciate. It most certainly does. But we feel that 6% is very reasonable. It's just trying to maintain the value, essentially.
Okay. And you said 5 years?
Up to 5 years, yeah.
So that's brilliant. So you can pay for a plot in this beautiful wildlife estate over 5 years.
Yeah, and it's quite customizable as well.
Oh, good.
So we've got forms for that which people fill out. Obviously the higher your deposit and lower your term and things like that. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about, let's go outside the estate.
Yes.
You were about to touch on that. Let's go outside the estate and tell us how far away is the estate. First of all, let's start from the main road, Kafue Road turnout. How far away is the estate from that?
It's about 4 kilometers to the main gate from the main Kafue Road.
Okay, 4 kilometers. That's
4 kilometers.
Not so bad.
No,
Yeah.
it's reasonably close.
Yes. And tell us about the amenities they can find outside the estate. Like, if I buy in the estate, I want to live here, where am I going to be doing my groceries, my shopping?
Yeah.
Are there any schools in the area? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, look, I'll start with the schools. There are a few boarding schools. There's Inkpot School this side, and there's Grandview on the main road, Grandview School. But I would reiterate that people living here want to be in outdoors, and convenience is not next door.
Yeah.
So Kafue is about 20 minutes drive away from here. Chilanga is about 25 minutes away. and Makeni is about 40 minutes from here.
Oh, okay.
So obviously I think Kafue is probably the closest in terms of shopping if you were based here.
Okay.
It's a 20-minute drive to Kafue, and Pick and Pay and the malls are there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about for medicals? If somebody falls sick, where's the closest place that they can go?
So we've got Lalai. A lot of our medicals are Lalai. So there's Lalai Clinic, which is very, very good in Mimosa, which deals with a lot of your walk-in clinical issues. And then there's SES as well in Lalai, which is it's a fantastic Medivac company.
Okay.
So I mean, they've had my daughter in an ambulance in 10 minutes from here. You know, and they've got fantastic paramedics, and they work with all the hospitals, and so we're quite fortunate actually on this side of town to have them.
Yes.
I would rather have them than the hospitals on this side of town.
I hear you.
So yeah, we're quite covered in that regard, and Kafue's got Kafue General Hospital as well. You know, which is obviously a government one.
Yes. Now the other thing that's also always top of mind is security.
Yes.
So what measures have you put in place in this?
Yeah, so I think you've seen our main gate there. We've constructed quite a large entrance gate because there's big security office going in downstairs. So at the moment we don't have, but we will be getting 24-hour security at the main gate, and there'll be a security office. Everyone coming in and out of the estate, there will be a logging system. Staff coming into the estate, in and out, everything will be through either a biometric or a tag system, and cameras will be there as well. And then we also on the wildlife side, but it serves both purposes. We also have armed scouts continuously that look after the wildlife and are patrolling through the property. But again, our governance system, if the board wants to add other security measures, it's very doable.
Okay, so I like that point. I actually didn't know that you do that. You have armed scouts who are looking after the wildlife.
Yes,
well,
yes.
So they're not just, left to their own devices.
No.
Okay. Now, I just want to end with this question, which is, you mentioned that you looked at quite a few other estates.
Yes.
And so you know what's going on out there. Why would someone want to buy in Mpande Estates? Why should someone buy here and not elsewhere?
Well, again, it's I'm not actually going to say you must buy here, because you have to love, like I say, the outdoor living. You love wildlife. You love being in the outdoors. You have to love that. I think initially to live here, because if you want convenience, it's not there, right on the doorstep.
Exactly.
So it's a change of lifestyle. Exactly. It's country living, and it's So what we did, we studied South African wildlife estates first, and we looked at their governance, and it was excellent. But in South Africa, they're very strict on building to plan, and you're not allowed to fence off anything, and you can't plant a garden, and you can't have pets. And so we took South African style wildlife estates, which are very well run, and we Zambianized it.
Good.
To what I feel,
I like it.
because in this country we don't like to build off plan. So for example, in the housing, what we've done is we've just created guidelines. So you can pretty much build the house you were probably thinking of.
Oh, good.
Within the guidelines. We've got a floor space guideline, which is very big. We don't want it to be above 8 meters, so it means you can still build double story.
Okay.
But we've been quite strict with color. So charcoal grey roof. The color schemes must be grey or natural cladding. But, we just feel that people like flexibility.
Yes, they do.
So we just want the houses to blend. They're so well spaced that the shape shouldn't really matter too much. And so we've got that flexibility here. And we felt that people also want to garden. I want to garden.
Yes.
So have that space where you can have your garden, where you can plant your exotic plants, where you can have your ponds, you can, create your own little oasis within your fence. You can have your pets. We have a few restrictions. You can't have 10 dogs or whatever it is. But you can have your pets and your security. So we've tried to mold what they do in South Africa to Zambia. And then we also looked at a lot of Zambian estates, and I think a lot of them have a lot of issues in the governance and things falling apart. And I'm not going to mention names, but there's one particular estate in this country is really working, you know, in Lusaka. And we've pretty much modeled our governance system on what they've done.
Okay.
And it's really working on that side of things, because you know, I think a big difference here is we, the developer, are also going to be living on the estate. You know, we're not selling this thing and leaving everyone with problems. So if there's problems, we're embroiled in it as well. So we need it to work. The rules, everything must work, and it's a community you're developing of like-minded people that like the same thing, and it's also it's a very democratic governance system we've put in place. So rules can be changed, rules can be added, things can be amended. It's if the majority approve, you know, that's how we'd like it to go forward.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, so we looked at both sides. We looked at Zambia, we looked at South Africa, and I felt we came up with, you know, what we felt was a great middle ground to tick both sides, both sets of boxes, and with the wildlife in mind as our priority. Yeah.
No, Roger, thank you so much for the information you've given us. I'm sure it sparked interest to our audience out there. And if you would like more information on Mpande Estate, then please click the link below this video and we will send you all the information you need. You can also reach out to us, reach out to our sales team, and we'll also share that information with you. But for now, I just want to thank you so much again for inviting us here.
No, you're welcome. My pleasure. Thanks for coming.
So you've heard it for yourself. Mpande Estate is not just a place to buy a plot and build a house. It's actually a place where a community of like-minded people are going to be living together who appreciate the values of sustainability, environmental friendliness, and wildlife. If this sounds like you, if you really want to have that place at home where you have that country living, then please, like I said, click the link below this video or get in touch with us and we'll be happy to share more information. So if you liked this video, then give it a thumbs up, guys, and also please subscribe to our channel. I know a lot of you who watch the channel don't actually subscribe, so if you do, it really helps us grow the channel. Also, hit the notification button so you don't miss any of our videos. And please share this video with just one other Zambian in your community who you know is interested in property back home. Connect with us on social media. We love to chat with you guys there. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.